Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here with us. My name is Carol Wozniak, and welcome to my home. I'd like you to get comfortable, have a seat as we begin. So, welcome to the Doula Family Childbirth Education class, lesson number 2. Again, my name is Carol Wozniak, and I am the owner and educator. Our company is a 3-generation, 45-year-old midwifery and doula practice. We've served over 4,000 families, delivered over 1,200 babies. We had an unwed moms ministry in our home for 20 years, and we have the largest birthing community on LinkedIn with over 7,800 professionals globally. I'd like you to think about these thoughts. Spiritually empowering childbirth. In Exodus, the midwives, the Hebrew women gave birth so quickly that the babies were born before the midwives arrived. These midwives' statements were unchallenged because they were protecting the babies and the moms during the day of contrast with what was going on in Bible times. There are objectives of thought for this series. Discover the truth about natural childbirth as God intended it. It is one of the most awe-inspiring miracles to be witnessed. To encourage you to live a God-centered life, God says, do not fear. To understand how to overcome fear in childbirth, to discuss the importance of marital harmony, to present God's promises for your labor and delivery, to discuss the best progress during your pregnancy and labor, and develop a grateful, appreciative, and forgiving prayer life. If you take a moment and look into your partner's eyes, tell them 3 things you appreciate them for. In the documents that you're available with this course is a yearnings list. I want you to pick out 3 top yearnings. There are 58 choices, but I'd like you to pick out 3 for this class, this birth, whatever the situation it is in front of you, pick out 3. So the story behind the story, my why. I'm passionate about our students becoming advocates and informed consumers for the whole family. We're all climbing Faith Mountain. If we're here on earth, each of us will come into moments that are contrast, challenges, where we feel alone. One of the things I want to encourage you is that there are other people who have climbed the mountain ahead of us, and they've reached out our hands or their hands to us. And now we're reaching out our hands to you. So you are not alone. Even those who have passed on before us, if they've left some research or they've written a book or given you some insights into how they handled life experiences, that's messages for you. So embrace them. So in 2003, I was sent home to die by the Western medicine doctors. I went 96 days only water and prayer. Why? Because I was allergic to everything, including all cooked foods, including the IV tube, the burn off on the IV tube at the hospital. My blood pressure go to 290 over 190, and I go into anaphylactic shock if somebody had perfume or there was some kind of a smell of some sort. What I didn't know until after I was released from the hospital, what the Western medicine did not let me know because they didn't test me for it. I was hyperacidic. My acid levels in my blood were off the charts. On March 22nd, I had believed the doctors when they told me that I was going to die. And so I had reached out for a way to help my children, trying to figure out what can I do, what can I say to help them get through the hard times. Well, it turned out my final life lesson was to go out and help someone else. I heard the words coach at the cellular level in a male voice, deep male voice, audibly in an intensive care room where I was all by myself. I had no idea what that meant. It was too much for me to comprehend. I didn't know how that applied in my life. It was interesting that on March 23rd, after I told my kids, you have to go out and find somebody to help, I'm flipping through the radio station and I heard the words coach at the cellular level and a phone number. And it was an alternative institute not too far from my home. And it was $1,200 to talk to this doctor for 30 minutes. We were broke. We'd spent so much money on my health. But my daughter, Lori Beth, she did a fundraiser. So she was able to have me be seen by this doctor. That's when I learned about foods with bioelectrical charge and alkalinity, that foods with life force energy that jumpstarts every cell in the body within 15 minutes. And that's when I had, after that meeting is when I had my first quote unquote seed milk. It's God's creation of kind of like breast milk. So on April 9th, I had my first seed milk. And by June 9th, I'm on vacation in Spokane with my family. And by November 8th, we're in Hawaii celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas with my family. So here I am on the couch in death's door. And then here I am in Florida celebrating life with my children. I was a patient at this institute, and then I became an instructor. And I started teaching what I learned all over the world because I thought everybody needs to know this. So the commissioner, Mr. Frank Avila of the city of Chicago, awarded me the 2011 Award of Excellence in Food Be Thy Medicine, in recognition of teaching the value of non-genetically modified foods to be thy medicine, such as seed milk, sprouted, bioelectrical charged foods that jumpstarts every cell in the body within 15 minutes. This is what I needed to face when I was first sent home to die. I had to hold on to this. Now, life is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. I want to ask you, what is the number one nutrient that you cannot live without? You cannot touch it, see it, or feel it. But it is so important. Without it, we die. It's oxygen. It's the number one nutrient. The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Water is the number two nutrient. The clinical dehydration. Over 80% of the U.S. population is dehydrated. 3% loss in the body water volume causes fatigue and organ dysfunction. 10% loss can be life-threatening. By the time your mouth feels dry, the body has already begun to suffer the effects of dehydration. This quote is by Dr. Michael Lamb. Those with the greatest intake needs are pregnant mothers, those with morning sickness, formula-fed infants, children, and adults with a high protein but low fruit and vegetable diet, and people under stress trying to heal or recover. We all need water, and we don't drink enough water. When a pregnant mom's water in the uterus is constantly under filtration, so every time she goes to the bathroom, that's what I call an amniotic fluid change. But you need to put water in to have the fluid change. This is the next most important, is sleep. Sleep has a major impact on your health and your wellness in your body. These are the times of day and night your body repairs and restores. It is phenomenal to think that when we're sleeping and these time zones are coming around, this is the time zone of when that organ or that section of your body is in repair. And we do that during the REM cycles. So going to bed early is an advantage to you restoring your health. Babies will sleep during labor. Some moms experience that I didn't really feel, a lot of kicking or something, and we shake their tummies, tell them, shake your tummy, and then the babies will pop up a little bit. So that's a way you can check to see if the baby's sleeping or not in utero. The breath of life. Oxygen is the most important component of air in every cell of our body and needs to maintain life. 90% of our nutritional needs comes from oxygen. The others is 4% comes from our food. Oxygen makes up 20% of the air we breathe. You breathe in 2,800 gallons of oxygen each day. The average man consumes 8 pounds of oxygen, 4 pounds of food, and 2 pounds of water. How can we increase our oxygen? Get outside. Use an ozonator. The highest oxygen component is food and living green foods. Improving your diaphragmatic breathing, which will oxygenate the blood and every cell within the body. Dr. Joel Wallach. He is known for understanding the building blocks of health. Amazing that with 90 essential nutrients and minerals, he's a veterinarian, naturopathic physician, author, and lecturer who played a major role in the development and the market of liquid vitamins and mineral supplements. But more importantly, his research over the years, and he's written over 70 different medical peer-reviewed documents on his research, that birth defects are preventable. Illnesses are preventable with all of the right nutrients and minerals and vitamins. So in this chart, he's been able to show that birth defects such as cleft palates or spina bifida, eye defects, heart defects, hernias of various types, club feet, and so on and so forth, are based off of nutrient deficiencies. If you didn't watch the first video, This is the link to our interview. I interviewed him because, one, these are people who've done real deal stuff. Dr. Wallach, when he was a young man, he got really sick. And what he learned along the way, like for myself, real experiences that is universally supported. It works. Oops, sorry about that. Dr. Tom Brewer also is someone who has done the work and maintained a consistency with the education he provides. One of which is Dr. Tom Brewer. What he's known for is the prevention of preeclampsia and toxemia by consuming 100 grams of protein every day and eating a balanced diet. If you want more information, you can go to the Dr. Brewer's pregnancydiet.com website. But we gave our students the printout, which you can get a printout on the website, and track your food and see if you're really getting 100 grams of protein. An egg is only 6 grams. So what did you eat today, and where can we find this protein? Enzymes are important. Enzymes help you be part of the building block for building healthy cells. We're born with our enzyme bank account, for example. It's full. Anytime we take dead cooked food, our bank account has to remove the enzymes out of there to digest and break down the cooked food. But if we're using living food that has bioelectrical charge, life force energy, enzymes with bioavailable organic minerals and vitamins, you're putting money into the bank, the enzyme bank. Raw food is rich in enzymes with bioavailable minerals and vitamins, but it doesn't have life force energy. So this was a piece of the information that I received when I went and spoke with this doctor. He came from a different point of view. He understood about the bioelectrical charge and about if your body is over acidic like mine was, that it steals the electrical charge, your life force energy away from you. You develop things like cancer or very sick diseases. So here I was, my body was super strong acidically, and I had very, very little bit of electrical charge within my body. What I learned that if I switch over to a more alkaline diet, living foods with life force energy, it restores my cellular health and my function of my body. This baby needs everything it can get to develop the different tissues, nerves, blood, you name it. But cooked vegetables and cooked animal products, they lack and they're void of bioelectrical charge enzymes, on the average loss of 87% of the vitamins and minerals. And as calories can sustain us from cooked food, it's a void of bioelectrical charge. It also is a loss of 87% of the vitamins and minerals. Sprouts is an excellent source of lots of vitamins A, B, C, E, K, as well as fibers, beta-carotene, iron, calcium, potassium, magnesium, lutein, folate, chlorophyll. They boost the immune system. They support your cardiovascular health. They build bones. Wheatgrass is a tremendous health food. Wheatgrass is not an herb or a food supplement. It is a complete food. So, for example, you could go to Whole Foods and get a green juice and a shot of wheatgrass in it. And did you know that the hemoglobin in the blood and the chlorophyll cell in a plant have almost identical molecules? Drinking wheatgrass might be considered like drinking pure sunlight. So how do your cells get oxygen from the bloodstream and into the cell? Dr. Samuel West, the founder of the International Academy of Lymphology, he discovered this. How oxygen is converted to power at the cellular level. It takes oxygen to turn the sodium and the potassium pumps in every cell, which generates electricity that gives the eyes the power to see, the brain the power to work, and so forth. Everything needs to have bioelectrical charge. The lymphatic vessel, these vessels go up in between the cells to remove blood proteins and water from around the cell, thereby maintaining the cell in what's called a dry state space. So they can pull the oxygen and the nutrients from the bloodstream right into the cell. So in this is the lymphatic system right here. So to create the dry state, we need the oxygen. Interesting enough, when you have removed the excess of water from away from the cells, it decreases inflammation. This condition enables the cells to obtain abundant levels of oxygen and nutrients from the bloodstream and into the cell. The lymphatic system is like a tree in the body. Branches go up inside the head, the roots go down all the way to your feet, and the trunk in your chest is called the thoracic ductwork. That excessive fluid, the sodium and the potassium, and the lack of oxygen creates an acidic environment with free radicals that breaks down the cells. What can cause the lack of oxygen at cellular level? Excessive blood protein and water around cells produce a lack of oxygen. This condition is called internal drowning. When the sodium and the potassium pumps, the electrical generators are being shut off, the result is pain. Loss of energy and disease. The name of the dis-ease is not so significant anymore. Everyone knows that oxygen and nutrients are delivered to the cells by the blood vessels. What people do not know is that in order for the oxygen and nutrients to get to the cell, the lymphatic system have to keep the cells in a dry state space. This is really important to know. So, Dr. West, as a chemist and lymphologist, he's written over 700 documents, published documents in his research. He discovered this dry state formula inside the cell, that it takes oxygen to turn on the sodium and the potassium pumps in every cell, which generates electricity that gives your eyes to see, the power to see, the brain to work. It actually lights up. There is a light in your cell when you do a live blood test, like I have here. That is a little light that lights up. So some people, you look at them and they look like they're glowing. Well, in healthy states, they are. Every cell has to have this action. individuals do not experience such intense pain. They don't have loss of energy or they don't have dis-ease. Healthy babies are born in a dry state space. So it's really important to understand what we need to do by increasing our alkaline side, our bioelectrical charge side. So if your heart stopped working right now, what would the paramedics do? They would zap you to charge your heart. But what are you eating today that's recharging your heart? What are you eating today to make those lungs flexible and help grow a baby? What do stem cells do? We have billions of stem cells every single day. And a newborn that's growing a baby are stem cells. The most important functions of stem cell are the following. One, they're anti-inflammatory. We have to create the right environment with the right nutrients for them to work. The regenerative component, they control and repair and renew of damaged cells, the normal replacement of old worn out cells with a brand new healthy cell. Do you know in 7 years, you have completely rebuilt your whole body? Every single cell has been replaced. They're antimicrobials. They secrete a very powerful chemicals that kills bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. And they energize. They revitalize and wake up your stem cell system that they have become if they have fallen asleep, for example. This is the most important function of stem cells. It's called the activation, but you need bioelectrical charge to activate stem cells. You need bioelectrical charge to grow a new baby, do cellular division. So every single one of the cells of every part of the system of this new baby you are growing, it has life force energy. It has electrical charge. It has a need for nutrients to make sure that it develops properly. These are the systems that are building at the very same time. It's not one or the other, it's everything. The magnitude, just think about that, the magnitude of what it takes to grow a human being. And it has to all come through the circulatory system to nourish these other systems. Fascinating. The ear develops at the same time a kidney develops, and the ear is the exact same size and shape that is developing as a kidney in the body. So for me, this is what I learned to make. It's called seed milk. And we'll learn more about it. But it's God's creation of God's breast milk. Before I started drinking seed milk, as I told you, I was hyper acidic. This is what your blood looks like. It's all sticky proteins. Each cells are flat. They don't have any life to them. They're flat as pancakes and they stick to each other because they're trying to protect themselves from the acid and the low nutrients. They can't absorb nutrients. But when I started drinking the seed milk, my cells started getting plump and round and started to regenerate. I've taught this recipe to people in over 168 countries and all across the US. It saved my life and it saved many others as well. I want to point out the beauty of seeing the cell in the black field study is there is a light that shows up inside the cell and you can actually see it. So when you say to somebody, you look like you're glowing, they are. And if you have not had a finger prick with the black field study, the unique thing is they take your blood, put it on the slide, put it underneath the microscope. And at the hospitals, when they do your labs, they stain it and it kills it. So you do not see this unless you have had a blood test with the black field study. So adding sprouts to your salads, drinking seed milk, enjoying sprout juice, that is nutrient-rich foods at the cellular level builds a healthy body for both you and baby. In class, we made what I call avocado soup. It's one of my favorites. It's highly nutritious. It is made by having your Vitamix, filling in with red pepper, garlic, herbs, spinach, sprouts. If you can get lots of sprouts. So I got these sprouts from Chicago Indoor Gardens in the Chicagoland area. There's alfalfa and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and pea sprouts. There's wheatgrass. You put them all together in the Vitamix with the red pepper and the garlic, and you blend them, you whip it into a liquid form. Then you start adding avocados, and you can add 1, 2, 3, 4, however thick you want to make it. So it would remind you of a guacamole, but it has life force energy in it. We use the Vitamix because it spins so fast, it doesn't destroy the actual nutrients within the sprouts themselves. A handful of broccoli sprouts has 1,300 times the nutrients of a handful of real broccoli that is full grown. Interesting, if you took a seed and put it in distilled water in a test tube and you let it sit there, that water in a few hours, and you test the water, it has everything in it that it needs to become a nutrient for the plant. There's nothing in the water before. This is where the miracle of life shows up. Somewhere along those 12 hours, cellular division begins, and the sprout, the plant's intention is to become a full and complete plant. When you have these tiny sprouts and they're sprouting, their intention is to become a full plant, and they have everything that they need to grow into a full plant if we keep watering them and giving them what they need: sunshine, oxygen. The beauty of this is it changes lives. Sprouts are living food with life force energy, bioelectrical charge. They have bioavailable enzymes, micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, proteins, calcium, vitamin A, C, potassium, iron, and the list goes on and on. If you consumed this, for example, and I'll give you an example. We need 100 grams of protein a day. Well, if you had 6 ounces of sunflower sprouts, that's 30 grams of protein. An egg is only 6. This has life force energy. It's also alkaline, so it takes out the inflammation. If you had azuki beans, it's 20 for 6 ounces. That's 22 grams of protein, or garbanzo beans. That's 25 grams of protein. Wheat berry. So many of these plants, and you combine them all, they add upon each other, and you can grow a nice, healthy baby. For a copy of our full report, Foods with Biological Benefits and Why We Should Eat Them, email us at support@Doula Family and ask for the report. We'll be happy to send it to you. Doula Family, you're in our hearts and in our hands. Memories last forever. Our intention is to provide you not only with life skills for your growing baby and a safe delivery, but help you continue to grow. We are a relational business. We still talk to the clients that we had in 1980. We still have friends and families sending us pictures and things. So our intention is not to be, oh, I saw you once and you're gone again. We appreciate the continued conversations, relationships we've built. Because I am a mother of 8 and grandmother of soon to be 26. Lots of babies have been born in my home. It really makes a difference. So Doula Family, .com, support@doulafamily.com for more information on our services or classes or certification programs, or text. We're here. It's been a pleasure spending some time with you today. Thank you.